It's September 8th. Peyton Krebs has not been signed by the Buffalo Sabres.
I the thing is it more or less just it's a difference as to where they think what he deserves and what he thinks he deserves, or is it just like, yeah, we don't want to go over the specific amount, so we're gonna lowball you. It's like going on Facebook Marketplace at night and just lowballing people on cars.
I really can't imagine what they're like what has carried so far into. I mean, we're not it's not just September. We're into September. We're more than a week in.
Hmm.
Training camp is in a week and a half. I mean, look, I would expect this is probably going to get wrapped up by this week, but I don't know. It's just kind of weird that I really don't know what they're arguing over. I've theorized that it's maybe just the Sabres just want him to sign the qualifying offer. Maybe Krebs wants another year rather than just a 1 year deal. Maybe the Sabres are willing to go with a 2 year deal, but one of those years they want to be a two-way. I don't know. This is just it's just annoying that it's Krebs. Like
Yeah,
it's not like it was Luukkonen, and
yeah.
obviously there's going to be some discrepancy, or even like a Beck Malenstein where it's a new player coming into the organization. I don't know, like it. This should be wrapped up by now, and obviously it isn't, and we haven't heard anything. But
That's what I was gonna get at. It's weird how little we've heard about this.
it's because it's Peyton Krebs. I don't even
Right,
like
yeah.
not to diss the guy too much, but is a national insider gonna be like, man, I really need to check in on what's going on with Peyton Krebs?
Damn, Jonah.
It's weird
That's
because
a
even
that's a
there,
that's a diss,
because
man.
even there, they're probably like, it'll get wrapped up soon. I don't know, but at the same time, to jokes aside, it's not like there's a trade request in here because even that would be reported on. Like it's become national news in Toronto that Nick Robertson is still seemingly asking for a trade, and I think he has less NHL pedigree than Krebs over the
He's
last two seasons.
he's still also only 18 years old. So he's a young player. He's hungry. Inside joke if anyone's out there listening.
It's I don't know. It's weird. And you've seen people start to catch on about this. Um it kind of started with a JFresh tweet. Well, it sort of started with Matthew Fairburn, who I really have to give credit to as like the one beat reporter who is kind of honing in on the idea. It's not even that the idea that the Sabres have an internal cap because we go back and forth on it. If JP's with us, it often turns into an argument of sorts. But over the past few weeks, he's slowly started to come over to our side. But either way, the central idea here is they're not spending.
No.
No matter who, you can have fun with trying to place blame on somebody. But at the end of the day, the money's not being spent, and that's the idea here. And Fairburn was talking about it in his column. I think he released it on Friday. Just how can this team be set up for success if they're not spending money? And subsequently, he talked about it on the Chris Baker Matthew Fairburn show. Just kind of going more in depth into like, hey, the Sabres over the past few seasons, where's your main revenue in a hockey team? It's ticket revenue, and there hasn't been a lot of that consistently since COVID,
It's picked
and
up. It's picked back up a little bit,
it
but
has. But even then,
still
it's been on and
nothing great.
off. It's on and off. It's got to be a weekend game at 7 o'clock if you want to sell out. A Tuesday night
Oh,
matchup against like the Calgary Flames. There's going to be 14,000 people in the building. The season ticket base still hasn't fully recovered, and it's not going to recover until probably playoffs. But even then, it has to be multiple seasons because with the status of the economy at this point, people are going to make a huge financial decision like that based off of one season,
right.
and um, it's going to take time to build that back up.
Yeah, we're in quite a conundrum here. It's like you got to spend money to obviously better your team, but you don't want to spend money because you haven't earned the revenue you want from, being a good team, but you can't be a good team unless you spend money
It's a
and
friggin'
get into the
paradox.
playoffs. It's a conundrum. It really is. It's feels like we're running on a hamster wheel right now, and it's just it's it's frustrating because, 2 months ago we were sitting here talking, we're like, gonna give them until middle of August. Middle of August. I
Well,
hope they spend to the
even if
cap.
even if you want to go before that, we got the Skinner news. I think late June, like right after the Cup final ended up, and I think I remember jokingly saying how, yeah, I don't want to imagine a world where they don't spend that money. It wasn't even a thought. It's like it's so obvious because even when the reports came out, when I think Merrick and Friedman were the first two to talk about it, they were like, people around the league think this can happen because they get the most cap relief this season, and this season
Hmm.
is the most important season. We're 2 or 3 weeks away from them not having touched. They haven't even dipped into Skinner's buyout money.
No, no, no. They have. They have. They just haven't spent it on the roster.
Yeah. Anyways, kind of that conversation that Fairburn kind of brought up or has been going off of it continued. Jay Fresh jokingly tweeted out, does anybody want to talk about how the Sabres are seemingly serious about being a playoff team and yet have $8.5 million open with only Peyton Krebs to sign? And then Pete Blackburn, noted NHL personality, kind of went along with what Christian was just saying a moment ago, and he said, "But did you see that new scoreboard?
It is nice. I will say
It's
it
nice.
is
It
nice.
is nice.
It feels good to have nice things, you know?
But you can't don't get suckered in. This is what they want. This is
I
what they
can't
want
wait
you
f-
to do."
I can't wait for that big scoreboard to display the score Canucks 5, Sabres 1 with a big with more
Second period,
advertising space.
13 minutes left in the second period.
Oh man,
Then
it's
you've
like
got
the
like
it's
you've
like the
got like
Flyers game
Hen-
all over again.
Henry or Jordan Greenway has scored tonight. Now you get 25% off at Moe's or 50%, whatever it is, whatever the friggin' coupon is.
Jordan Greenway is tonight's Mo's hot player. There ain't no hot players out there, bro. We're down 4 goals in the second.
I want to be done talking about this, but inevitably, it's just when the season's honestly, it probably won't go away unless this season just unless it goes over swimmingly, or unless it goes over smoothly, because it's just not even dipping into it. Like if it was 5 or 6 million open, you could kind of raise an eyebrow and be like, okay, well they're not really taking full advantage of it. But to have all that space open, and unless Peyton Krebs ends up signing for 2 years, and unless they to overpay someone who we're going to talk about, Mark Giordano, unless he gets a $2 million deal,
A 1 year, $6 million deal.
they're not going to touch it. That would be more evil, right? Uh, we get disproven, like, oh, see, we told you. We just paid Mark Giordano.
We told you. Look at that. We just signed a 40-year-old defenseman to a 1 year, $6 million contract. How do you like that?
Oh,
That'd
that
be
would
the
be.
worst. That'd be the worst ending. I'd
I don't
rather
know.
just have him not spend the money.
I was gonna say I don't know what is worse, that that's how they spend it, or they don't spend it at all.
But it just doesn't make any sense to me because the argument out there is they need to sign Quinn. They need to sign Paterka. Yes, that is true. They do. But you get the buyout relief. You take advantage of it this season. All I want is a rental. 1 year deal.
Well, and then
Do the
logic
Taylor Hall thing.
that
Do the
logic
Taylor Hall thing.
that logic makes no sense because for two reasons. Okay, if you're saving for Paterka, Quinn, Levi, okay, and Byram, but the first three, like, sign them now.
Right.
And if your answer is, well, they haven't proven, or Paterka's proven Paterka's had his breakout season, but Quinn and Levi, like, they haven't proven anything. Well, then why are you saving for them, right?
Because they think it is.
Or it's Okay, do you think they're going to be better? Well, their value is never going to be lower than right now. Right? I wouldn't extend Devin Levi, but Jack Quinn, 100% I would. His value is never going to be lower than it is now.
Hmm.
Paterka, it's kind of the same thing. Maybe he has a worse season than last year, but he only had 50 points last year. It's not crazy to think he'll at least score more than that, even if the impacts show that he was worse. Why not sign them now? And then number two, the Skinner buyout penalty cuts into those extensions. Like you're you bought out Jeff Skinner to save money for extensions that are going to be tougher to fit in because of said buyout.
Another conundrum.
It just like I
That's
get
more of
it.
a paradox.
I get it. The those extensions like skin. Well, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense, man. It literally makes no sense.
The easy answer to this is to just spend the money now. That's the easy answer. All
Or
right.
extend them,
Or
or
extend
extend
them.
the players, because then
Put
it's like,
your
okay, fine, maybe that was the plan.
put your money where your mouth is right now, because if you don't, it's so obvious that it shows that there's an internal cap going on right now. And you know what? Terry's a businessman, and I get it. He's probably looking at his bottom line right now, and he's just like, hmm, there's a lot of zeros in this playoff revenue section the last 14 years. I wonder why that is. And he's like, I'm gonna have to cut back on certain things, but I will give you a shiny new scoreboard and a nice new non-leaky roof instead. That's the trade.
I don't think the Spencer Brown contract numbers have come out yet, or if they have, I've missed them. I want it to be like in the 7 to 8 million $9 range so bad, just for the jokes, just for the jokes. I've been waiting for those numbers to drop. I don't think they've come out yet.
He got a 4-year deal. I don't know what the money is. I can't remember what the money is. Let's take a look. See if it's out. Let's see if
I
it
don't know.
let's do a little
I don't know if
research.
that
Let's see
money
if
is
it's out
crazy
there.
for his position. I feel like that's like kind of on the nose.
O linemen nowadays, they've become their stock is up. They've become more valuable, especially like a solid right tackle like Spencer Brown. I mean, he originally, he had his fair share of he was like ranked his PFF score was like 6 out of 100 for blocking. I'm like, bro, that's your job. That is your whole job.
So Spot Track seemingly has it at 3.5 but that's this year. Yeah, they don't have it for next year.
Mm.
He's gonna get a raise, so you would have
Oh
to
yeah.
think, is 7.5? Is it crazy? Is that a crazy final total? I don't know.
I don't think it is. What would that be? A 4-year, $28 million deal? That sounds about right.
I don't know. We'll have to see. I'll be watching. I'll be looking for it. That's why the numbers haven't come out. They're trying to hide it. I'll be ready. I will be ready.
This is the news Terry doesn't want you to see.
All right. Okay. I think once again we've made our points. I hate talking about it, but my God, there's a very easy way to disprove me.